All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. In this one, I'm joined by Tyson from Let's Talk Jets Radio. Tyson, what's up, man? How are you?
Ian, thank you for having me. This is an honor talking to you, man. This is great.
Dude, I was looking for, I was just on your channel. It was a lot of fun talking draft and everything like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, same kind of deal here. First question, man, like the big storyline right now, Deebo Samuel, 49ers trade request. Will he be traded? Number one. And number two, would you want him on the Jets? And what would you give up to? So number three.
Yeah, I think he will be traded because the NFL is different now, man. It seems like when players used to want to be traded, the team would be like, we're not going to trade you, hold out and have all this drama. Now teams are trading these guys. So I think it's just a matter of when and who gives the best package. So I think Deebo Samuel's gone. He's been pretty clear he doesn't want to be there. Now, I think the Jets should get him. I think they've already said they will be very aggressive. I think they're playing the whole negotiating through the media game right now. My starting point would be the Tyreek Hill package, which I think everybody agrees. 2 second-round picks for Deebo Samuel. I'm completely cool with that, but I'll go further. And I think this is where probably going to give me a lesson on saying no, but I think I would give the number 10 pick. Just that though, number 10 pick by itself. And the reason being is if you have right now in my world, if you're drafting a receiver at 10, say it's Garrett Wilson or Jameson Williams, I'm cool with that. But instead of drafting that guy, I'd rather have Deebo Samuel. The only problem is the contract afterwards, but I'm willing to pay the money as well. So to answer you, I think he will be traded. I think the Jets can be super, super aggressive. And I think right now they're just trying to, Joe Douglas is playing the waiting game a little bit because it's only Monday, man. You still have a couple more days before the heat gets hot because once you hit draft day, once the first round goes by, a lot of things are going to start changing.
Definitely. So you said, you're in favor of acquiring Deebo and you would be down to pay him. What's the breaking point? Like, what's the annual number where you're like, this is too much?
That's a great question because I think he wants to be the highest paid receiver in football. That's what he wants. I mean, he's in his eyes, he's earned it. All pro receiver. The year he had last year, like the best year of his life, and great year. That's a great question, man. You're saying what, $24 million a year, $25 million a year, I think is where you're at. And I think we talked about this before. It's like the Jets are in a tough spot because everybody knows they're desperate for help and they have a ton of cap space. And if you trade for him, you got to pay him. So you're going to have to open the money, open the bank for him. And there's already word out that they were already willing to pay Tyreek Hill $1 gazillion. So you can't say I'm going to pay one, not the other. So I think you got to come here with pretty much an open check, here you go, man. This is whatever it takes to get you here, which is not ideal for a team that's this young, but if you're getting game-breaking talent at the same time.
Yeah, you brought up Tyreek Hill. Another point to kind of piggyback off of. Deebo's younger. A lot younger. Yeah. It's not like they're the same age or anything like that. Yep. So Deebo has that in his back pocket. I'm literally years younger than Tyreek Hill. Yep. And, I want to be paid at least the same amount. But no, it should be interesting. I agree with you. I do feel like Deebo will be moved, but I feel like his market is just so big with Green Bay and Philadelphia, maybe even New England, as much as I hate to say it, but it's like, man, I could see realistically, 10, 12 teams like wanting to pull the trigger on Deebo. Yeah. Like it's crazy. But Deebo aside, because we don't really have that answer, let's talk about the draft. We do know we're going to be picking 4th. We're picking 10th. Where do you stand right now? 4th overall pick. Of course, we don't know who's going before us, but what position are you leaning? Do you have any sort of, prospects that you have your eye on?
I'll make it simple. Pass rusher, pass rusher, pass rusher. I want edge in the worst way. I've wanted one for a decade, and I would sell my soul for one. It's an enormous need. That's a solid need. It's his defense is predicated on a pass rush. We don't have one. You're getting Carl Lawson back, which is great. But what is Carl Lawson coming back? Is he going to be healthy? What does he bring to the table? You need a young guy to be just a stable of your defense. So, dude, I don't think Hutchinson's going to be there. But I'm cool with Thibodeaux. I'm cool with Jermaine Johnson. Just give me a pass rusher that can create havoc on defense. That's priority number one for me.
Yeah, dude, that literally is like my exact answer. I would be totally fine with Johnson, totally fine with KT. If Hutchinson manages to fall, obviously unlikely. But hey, Tyreek Hill's on a new team, and Devontae Adams, Russell Wilson, this has been. We were talking before we started filming. Like, this is the craziest offseason. I would probably say of my life. I can't remember all these, superstar movement and quarterback movement, no way. But, I agree. Spot number 4, edge all day. But, it's not to say that, and like we talked a little bit on your channel about, Ike Ekwonu being the pick at spot number 4, offensive line. You wouldn't really be in favor of it. But, you're looking at a guy in Sauce Gardner. is it edge or bust for you? Or is it, hey, is it just let's get somebody that can walk into the locker room, walk onto the field next year, play right away, and impact the team?
That's a great question, man. And that's where I start getting I start wavering a little bit because it's like, what is it's like who's available, but is it your third or fourth best pass rusher as opposed to a guy that's your number one tackle on the board, your number one corner on the board, who you actually have ranked higher? You know what I mean? Like to me, I understand Sauce Gardner's ability. He's a great player, but in Salah's defense, is there a lot of a premium put on corners? And I don't think there is, to be honest with you. I think he's all about the pass rush and everything in front of him. So maybe there's not a premium on corners. So maybe in their draft board, it may be discounted a little bit where it's not as high as we think it is. So then it could be an Aquanu. It could be somebody else. I don't think it's going to be I wouldn't go receiver there. I wouldn't go safety there. So then, and I don't think you can trade back either. This isn't like a normal draft, man, where you have 4 or 5 names everybody loves. It's not like that. There's not even one player everybody loves. There is no Bosa. There's no right. There's no name that everybody's like, we got to get this guy. It's what's your flavor of the day. That's what everybody likes. So to me, I mean, I really, really want a pass rusher, man. If it's just I'm desperate, and I hate when everybody says we can just wait till 10 or wait till second round. I hate when the draft dictates who you get. I'd rather get the guy that I want. If it's a reach in the eyes of some, I really don't care. Get your guy so you can fill a need, and that's probably not what most draft analysts think, but that's kind of where I think the Jets are. It's a glaring hole in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And, your philosophy about, getting your guy. I feel like one of the worst feelings for a general manager is to pass on your guy to try to go get him at 10 or try to go wait to the second round. He gets taken and then he turns out to be a beast somewhere else, and then you're sitting there, out of luck. But no, I totally agree with you. I think spot number 4 has to be edge, but if it's not edge and you could have your choice, between anybody, who would it be?
That's a great question, man.
Any prospect.
Man, I think I can't go offensive line, and I know and I understand the whole thinking behind it. To me, it's an abundance of riches, and I'll respect it, I'll embrace it, and I'll enjoy the chaos, but I just can't do it. I guess you'd have to go corner. I mean, see, now I'm a waiver a little bit because I'm a Notre Dame fan, man. So I really, really like Kyle Hamilton. But again, I don't think that I'm not sure they put a premium on safeties either or corners in this defense. So I guess in that world, I would probably go Gardner over Aquanu. It's just maybe a need. You have him and Reed back there. You have 2 very good corners. Maybe you can cater your defense to having a strong secondary. I guess I would go that way.
Yeah, no, I feel that. So edge pretty much at 4, maybe Sauce Gardner at 10. What opens up? Assuming we go with an edge at 4.
Yeah.
What happens at 10? Wide receiver, maybe your guy Kyle Hamilton, my guy too. Do we go O-line at 10? I don't know. There's so many different possibilities here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, if you're getting edge at 4, to me, and I think it's wide receiver. I think you have to. And this is kind of the same thing where I understand everybody's telling me there's a lot of depth at wide receiver where there's a lot of good value in the second round. Pickens and Dotson and all these other guys. To me, it's like I respect the depth. I want your best player on the board, or you're one of your 2 best players on the board. And you'll get that at 10. What I mean? Everybody's predicting there could be 2 quarterbacks taken in the first round. Well, if that's the case, where are they going? Are they going where are they going? So to me, I go wide receiver. I don't wait. I get them there. Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, the same name everybody's talking about. I mean, I like Drake London, maybe not as much as everybody else does, but I'm not a draft expert. I don't study the tape like everybody else does, but I just, you have to go wide receiver. You give Zach Wilson as many weapons around him as humanly possible, especially when now you have two very good tight ends. You have Michael Carter behind them, the running back. You add another explosive player to put next to Elijah Moore and Corey Davis and Berrios. You have something, man. So to me, it's got to be wide receiver.
Yeah. So edge at 4, wide out at spot number 10. I mean, honestly, we have the same kind of idea here. And I think another thing to kind of, to kind of go back to edge at 4, where are you going to get another edge? Free agency is over. Von Miller's gone. Chandler Jones is gone. Yeah. I don't see any of the big name guys being traded. I think DK Metcalf could be traded. Deebo maybe he's traded. We've heard that AJ Brown, Deontay John, wide receivers. I feel like you could go get them anywhere. Cornerbacks, same kind of deal. But TJ Watts just don't hit the market. Myles Garrett does not hit the market.
Yep.
And if you want to play that, if you want to roll the dice, play the risky game of waiting to spot number 10, because there has been some speculation here, and that was actually my next question. Kayvon Thibodeaux could very well slide. That's the headline last couple of days. He's going to slip maybe outside of the top 10. if that's the case and he does start to slip, or Joe Douglas gets the feeling that, or I guess if you were Joe Douglas and you felt like he was going to slip, would you maybe just pull the trigger at 4 anyway and say, this is my guy? Or would you try to wait to spot number 10, double down, right? Go get Sauce at 4, whoever you may want, and then try to come back at 10 and go get KT. Now you're, now you're in like perfect land, right? Perfect situation.
Yeah, to me, it's I get the guy. I get him a 4 because I think a lot of teams. Sometimes a lot of these teams leak stories because they want these guys to slide to them. Everybody's playing games, man. Everybody's releasing something to benefit themselves. The agents leak stuff. The teams leak information. The report. Everybody's doing something. If he's your guy, take him there. You can't get sometimes I think in the past, Jets general managers got too cute in the draft. They're trading up, they're trading down, they're playing all. Just get your guy. Like if that's your guy, you get him and move on. And let's just, you know what I mean? You talked about before, like the last thing you want to do is get too cute and you miss out on your guy, and now you're selling for something else, going in a different direction, and then your needs not met. So I take him at 4, dude. I don't play around.
Yeah, no games, dude. And I like it. I like the idea. And like another thing that I'm kind of thinking about here, middle round prospects, second, third, fourth, because as we all know, we got the 2-2s, we got the 2-4s, a high 3. It's not, and we talked a little bit about this before too. It's not like we're the Jaguars where it's like, great, we have the first overall pick, we make our pick, and now it's like we have to wait 30 something picks to go again. It's like, no, we could kind of continuously hit the draft here, scratch off lottery tickets. Are there any prospects that you have your eye on in rounds maybe 2 or 3 or 4? I know, of course, a lot of that has to or is dependent on what we do in the first round. But just any guys that pop into your mind, safeties or linebackers.
Yeah, I mean, the one guy, I think the guy everybody talks about is Linderbaum at center. Like to me, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on McGovern, because to me, for the Jets, I'd like to have a center in front of Zach Wilson for the next 10 years. Like we were spoiled with Mangold, we were spoiled with Kevin Mawai, and like right now, like depending on who you believe, McGovern's either good, bad, or indifferent. To me, I think he's one more year away from being gone. So if you can get his replacement on this roster and start mentoring him now, and then have that be the eyes and ears for Zach Wilson for the next 10 years. Like that, ideally, I like to get a very good center out of this draft. That's kind of where I'm at, and I don't know what you think, but like, what are your thoughts on McGovern, man?
Yeah, no, I think we just became best friends because like we agree with like all of our points here. Like, I'm looking at McGovern and I don't think he's like horrible. And I was impressed with what he showed, like that first year with Gase, I was like irate, like it was a big Joe Douglas signing, at the time, new general manager comes in. Oh, we got to upgrade center, and it's McGovern. And then he looked like that. I wasn't happy. And then to see what he did a little bit better this season, I still don't view him as a franchise, like long-term building block, next 5-10 seasons, like you said. And I think Linderbaum, he fits the system. He's young. It's just it would be awesome to have that young building block in the middle of the offensive line next to Lakin and AVT. I mean, you can't ask for a better, combo to have, or a better talent to have next to you. And it's not like there's going to be this humongous learning curve for Linderbaum or anything like that. I think it makes so much sense. But I think, again, the big question here, does he get past the Bengals at 31? Like it's going to be tough. And then even if he gets to round 2, there's still a handful of teams that are picking in front of the Jets. So Linderbaum's, dude, that's interesting, man. But, going back to McGovern, he's getting paid a lot. I think he's a $10.3 million cap hit this season. And then I think if the Jets were to part ways with them, they would save $9 million. So like looking at that, like that's a lot of money. That's not just a minor contract or anything like that. So I think this is probably his last year. If I was running the team, I think unless he dominates or has, some crazy season, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea, like you said, to maybe address center, middle round pick. We have the extra one, so it's not going to be a blow to the franchise or anything like that long term. We're not risking mortgaging the future. And that way you could stash him, keep him for a year, or hey, maybe he wins the job outright. The Jets could trade McGovern or part ways with them and save the money there. So I think it's really a win-win.
Yeah, and the other position too is I don't do like a tremendous amount of draft, like coverage and stuff like that. I don't study all the film and do all the things like that. But the other spot for me is finding CJ Mosley's replacement. It's like the Jets at linebacker over the years, they always tend to be slow. Like they didn't have sideline to sideline coverage. Mosley had a great year last year. He was the heart and soul of defense. He was just, he tried everything in his power to, hold things together. But at some point, you need to find a good player to play next to him. Like, I know people like Quincy Williams, who I think is okay, but like you need start getting young studs on defense at linebacker, man. And they have a lot of hybrid guys. I know they have Sherwood and all these different players, but they're like hybrid safeties and linebackers. And this guy's got to gain weight. This guy's got to lose weight. Just get a very good linebacker next to Mosley. I think would be a good spot too.
Yeah, so I know it's obviously like we don't know what's happening with the draft. We don't know what's happening with possibly acquiring one of the top level wide receivers, but what are your like expectations going into next season? Not necessarily, giving me a record or anything like that, but maybe just ballpark, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wins. Like where do you stand on that?
They've got to win. I'd say they have to win at least 7 games, man. They have to. I mean, they brought in a lot of talent. It's year two for Saleh, year 2 for Zach Wilson, for everybody, man. So they all got a pass last year. The Jets they have like a redshirt year last year for everybody. We accepted losing. We justified losing because it was like, oh, everybody's new. They're all learning. Whatever. That's great. But now it's like step up time. Like there's no reason why you can't be a lot more competitive. Meaningful games in December. We got to be in it during Halloween, man. Like I'm tired of like early October. You're like, all right, let's talk draft in October. Like I hate doing that. So
Yeah.
you got to be more competitive. And I think the biggest improvement, to be completely honest with you, is defense, because they were gross last year. That was some of the worst defense. We talked about it. It was embarrassing. Like you're wondering if it was scheme, players, effort, all three, and they looked lost. They weren't making adjustments, and he kept saying it wasn't his scheme. So in my opinion, what they did last year was they weeded out the guys that didn't fit their scheme, whatever that was. They didn't make a lot of changes, but that's what they're saying. So this year, you've got to be a lot better. You can't be the 32nd ranked defense. You got to be a lot more competitive, close out games, start off games stronger. But to me, I think seven wins is the floor, man. You can't be less than that.
Yeah, I agree. Zach Wilson going into year 2. Saleh, he's like you said, redshirt season. He has that full year under his belt. Injured players coming back, more free agent acquisitions, tons of draft picks, possibly a star wide receiver. I agree. I think worst case scenario, that's with players getting hurt and whatnot. It's got to be 6, worst case.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think if it's anything under 6, then people are really, really going to start questioning everything in place. Because it's not like the Jets are pressed for cap space. It's not like, oh, we're the 49ers. We don't have first round picks for years and years. They obviously moved up for Trey Lance. Like we've had a lot of opportunities to get better in the offseason. So man, I'm with you. I think 7 wins, 7, 8 is the goal for me. Do you think Zach Wilson takes a step forward next year?
He has to. I mean, he has all the talent in the world, man. And I think they did a really good job this offseason building around him. The offensive line has been bulked up, getting Tomlinson. I love the tight ends, man. I was a big Conklin fan. I love the addition to him. They have a lot of good pieces. If you could run the ball, Michael Carter opens up play action pass. You give him another receiver, Elijah Moore year 2. I think it's all right in front of him. It's the game's got to slow down for him. He's putting the work in. I mean, you saw the videos. He's traveling all across the country to hang out with his receivers and build chemistry and work on it. I think the most important thing is he's got to start out fast. Do not start out slow the first 2-3 games with clunkers, because you know how this fan base is and this media base is, where it's like, you know what, this kid's a bust. Like we can't have this again. Like come in sharp. LaFleur he can work with LaFleur all offseason, say what plays do you like, what plays don't you like, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, cater to him and let it fly. And I'm not saying he's be a top 10 quarterback, but he was one of the worst in football last year, if we're being honest. We like to look at the last 4 or 5 games. The first part of the season was terrible. You see the one, the splash play against the Titans, but in between that, there was like, worm burners and all this other stuff going on. So he's got to play well, man. I think he will. But if he's a top, say what do you think? Like top 20 quarterback? That's a big step up. That's year 2. And then year three, take off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think, we could do like Joe Douglas can continue to, feed this team talent, offensive line, wide receiver, tight ends, backup quarterbacks. Like we can, make Zach Wilson's life as easy as possible. But at the end of the day, like it is on his shoulders to go out and execute, go out and win games. And I honestly, I think that I would like to see Zach Wilson honestly like manage a couple games early, like not turn the ball over, kind of like how he was at the, in the back half of the season. Like you were just talking about, like Tampa Bay first half of the Eagles game. Like I was cool with that. Maybe it's not the, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen type of numbers, but, if he's holding it down and he's not turning the football over, and the Jets are maybe winning by 1 score, losing by 3, like I can live with that, because I'm not really viewing 2022 as the year to make that deep playoff push to go win the AFC East. Like, we need to see that improvement. And I totally agree when you say Wilson needs to start out fast. And if he's putting out clunker after clunker, multiple picks 1 week, 9 completions the next, it's going to, I feel like it could get ugly fast, because then you're just in quicksand, you're just trying to keep your head above water here. But dude, I appreciate you hopping on, man. I know I was just over on your channel and everything like that. We've, you took a lot of time to hang out today, and I appreciate it.
Dude, this has been awesome, man. It's great talking to you. Whenever you want to do this, come on my channel, come on your channel. Dude, I'll tell you, I watch your stuff all the time, man. You do an excellent job, and that's why you have a huge following, and it's well deserved, man. You seriously, it's a lot of good work you put out.
Yeah. So just double checking. Are you cool to come on after the draft too?
Let's do it.
Sweet. Sounds good, man. It should be a lot of fun. And I'm sure everybody knows who Tyson is here, but if you don't, all of his links are going to be left down in the description box, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and go check him out. Let's Talk Jets Radio. It's awesome.
Appreciate it, man.
Take care. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, go Jets.